share with you some lessons on effective advertising, marketing, sales, communication, not necessarily using the U.S. mail or whatever country you're in, using postal services and physical mail. A lot of these lessons pertain to any type of communication, and if you tune in here regularly on Direct Mail Monday, you already know that. So let's get right to it. This one, however, has a few lessons that specifically do pertain to physical direct mail. So I talk about a lot, your first job, you all know that. If you're here a lot, you know that your first job with any message, phone call, email, website, social media post, direct mail, anything at all, is to get people to read your message. So with the direct mail piece, other than a postcard, it's to get people to open it. You send an envelope. You got to get it opened. You got to get people to say, man, I want to open this. I don't just want to throw it out as junk mail. For instance, I just went through a bunch of my mail from the past week that I put aside, and all of these, I won't show the other side of them, but all of these I didn't even open. I just tossed them. Okay, so that's what people do. Even someone like me who makes a living teaching people and helping people and doing myself using direct mail, even I didn't need to open these, which I normally do. It's free education. I'll open it all, but these were so bad and such obvious junk that I just tossed them. So you don't want people doing that to your direct mail piece, right? It costs you money for the printing, the envelope, the postage, etc. Not to mention the biggest cost is not the money, it's the opportunity cost that you could have made a lot of money. So if you invest $5,000 on a mailing, it's not that you want the $5,000 back. You want the $100,000 that would have come in if it worked. So that's your cost of doing it wrong, is you miss out on all that revenue and profit, right? So this one I thought was interesting, and I opened it up. Now, first of all, it's addressed to my mom, and my mom passed away nearly 5 years. Next month it'll be 5 years ago, and yet still her name is on mailing lists and people are purchasing them. There's one lesson: the older the mailing list you purchase, the cheaper each name is. However, as in this case, very often person is depending on, especially if you're purchasing names and you're asking specifically for the attribute of the people on the list that they're older, it's a good chance that they have passed away. Or in a lot of cases, people have moved 5 years, people have moved. I happen to be the administrator of my mom's estate, so I had all the mail sent here, but she's still getting mail. However, doesn't stop if it does arrive, even in the wrong home. Somebody might open it anyway. Once in a while, you get a bonus. This is not particularly it's not an offer specific to my mom, so anyone can open it, and the company can still get a response. So I opened it, and you can see I thought maybe it's something important, although pretty silly. I wasn't really thinking when I opened it that it could have been something pertaining to something about my mom that was important. But as I'll show you a few things, I shouldn't have fallen for it. But I just want to show you, I normally open all the mail on the fly here on Direct Mail Monday on the live video, so you get to see my initial response and reaction and everything. But this one I did open up, but then I saw this yellow lined paper, and right away I said, gotta show this one, because that to me is a smart and advanced strategy to use the handwritten, quote, handwritten note on the yellow lined paper. Now, it's almost never going to be an actual handwritten note. It's going to be a handwritten font, a printed handwritten font. And for instance, that was tip-off number one, why I should have realized it's ridiculous, is this handwritten font on the envelope is not actually written on with actual ink. It's printed on there. But you can get your printer to print a handwritten font so that it appears like it's personal mail. So I said this was going to be about 3 ways to disguise your business mail as something personal, and that's one, that you use a handwritten font. And I should have maybe I made this number 4, but in this case, the handwritten font being in blue really appears like it could be from a blue pen in writing, with the rest of the stuff is all the postmark and everything is black. The second way to disguise your business mail as personal is to mail it in a invitation-sized envelope like this, a greeting card or a wedding invitation. It's not a number 10 business envelope or a big manila envelope that screams this is business, or a window envelope that screams this is business, this could be, at least this envelope is usually, almost always, used for personal correspondence. A note, a thank you note, an invitation, a card, a happy birthday card, some kind of so that's number 2. So a handwritten font, so it looks like handwriting. And number 2, it's not a business type of envelope. It looks like a personal type of envelope. And number 3, you see a live stamp. This is an actual live stamp. It's not a printing of a stamp. It's not a postage, metered postage. You can see I could technically peel off this stamp, as I am ineptly attempting to do here, but there it is. See, I can peel off that stamp, because that is a live stamp on there, and I will peel it off live on the video to show it to you. Boom. Right? Live stamp. So humans, family, friends send greeting card sized envelopes with handwritten name on them and a live stamp, as opposed to business, which generally has an indicia or, just typed out name on there. I'll show you some of the ones I threw out without, this one doesn't say who it's from, so you can see that's my mom again, and it's printed out, right? So that's how business, and there's a window envelope, right? So, pure business. This one, those 3 things: live stamp, handwritten font, or actual handwriting. And I have used companies that you pay per line, and they actually have, students or housewives, retired people that actually hand write out the envelopes for a few pennies a line. So maybe it adds another 10 or 15 cents or 20 cents to your mailing, whatever. But man, now it really appears like it's personal. It's going to get opened. And the more of your mail that gets opened, the more of your emails that get opened, the more of your social media posts that get looked at, the more of your telephone conversations that people want to listen to, the more your message gets heard, assuming that you got someone who knows what they're doing to craft your sales message, or if you're really good, you did it yourself, the more sales you're going to make, right? Just makes sense. But if people toss these away like I did with those envelopes, message doesn't get heard. It doesn't matter how great a copywriter that was and how great the offer is and how great the message is, didn't get read. So that's 3 ways to make it look personal. Now, there's 2 other things right here on this envelope that kind of ruin it, that undo those 3 things. See if you can spot what they are. Okay, I already named one of them. One of them is that this is a handwritten font, but it's printed. It's not actually handwritten. And anyone who took any time at all to look at it, one thing you can usually see is that all the same letters look the same. Like the E looks the same every time it shows up, or what, because it's printed. It's not handwritten on there. That's number 1. But number 2, more importantly, is the fact that it's, got this barcode, and it's got this pre-sort barcode up here. So that clearly undoes all the other stuff. Oops. So if it didn't have this barcode and it didn't have this code here, it could look like it was personal mail, live stamp, card, greeting card type of envelope, and a handwritten name and address on there. It could look personal. Here's another way it kind of looks personal, is as I open it up, has that yellow lined paper, as if a 10-year-old kid took a piece of notepad paper from his 3rd grade class, or whatever age that is, and hand wrote something on here. And so let's see. First of all, there's a card in it, so we'll look at that later. But this does unfold. There it is, to an 8.5 by 11 yellow lined paper. And this is a handwritten font again. Maybe you can't tell on the video, but this is not actually written. This is printed by a printer. But it has the effect, at least psychologically, of looking like someone took the time to write you a note. So it's kind of cool. Hi, my name is, and I'm the general manager of your local, and see, this is something you do on these handwritten notes. So it's not actually, I take it back, it's not printed. Generally, these aren't printed by a printer. They are handwritten out and then copied on, make 5,000 copies. But it was originally written out. And when you do that, you do things like this. You put cross-outs, or you put bold here as if you misspelled it. I got to put an R. I had put a P instead, or whatever. And you want some cross-outs. Here's some underlines. You want to, here again, going over the 6 as if, oh, I put the wrong number, I got to put 6. So it looks like it's handwritten. If you look carefully, though, not even that carefully, you can tell this is Xerox copied, or whatever the word's for, mimeographed. I don't know, what's the modern word for copied? It's copied on there, printed on there, not a printed font. It was originally handwritten, I believe, and then it was printed onto 5,000 or 10,000 copies. So, on the GM of your local renewal by Andersen, that's a window company, over the past year, we've replaced a lot of windows and doors in your neighborhood. I'm passing along this discount card, underlined, because we need to keep our crews working during the winter. If you'd like a price, please call my office today. Phone number, thank you, Joe. So it seems very personal and seems real. Like, hey, this is what's known as the because frame. Okay? Whenever you give an irresistible offer or anything, you want to give a reason why. We call it in the marketing world, in the copywriting world, we call it give a reason why. Especially because if you really make an irresistible offer, people are going to think it can't be real, or it's too good to be true, so it can't be true, or what's the catch? I don't believe it. So you give a reason why. Well, the reason why we're doing this is because we need to keep our crews working during the winter. Aha, that makes sense. Okay, now, of course, here in Arizona, doesn't have as much effect, I'm sure, as sending this note in Minnesota. If we're in the winter, yeah, good luck to keeping your crews working. Down here, the winter is the prime time to have your crews working. This is when it's beautiful out, 60 degrees today or whatever, a little breeze, like in the summer, gets up to 110. That's the Arizona version would say we need to keep our crews working in the summer. Nobody wants to do any work in the summer. Nobody's calling. A lot of people live up north or travel up north to their families or grandkids or whatever for the summer, and then they come back down here for the season, which is now for the winter. So this message would be the opposite if it was particularly for this area, a tip-off that it's a national message, and therefore, again, a tip-off that it's not a real message from your local GM. It's got his name on it, but that message doesn't make a lot of sense if you think about it in this area. Nobody has to keep your crews busy this time of year. Everything is busy this time of year. You can't get a parking spot. You can't get into a restaurant. There's traffic all over the place. Everything is busy this time of year. In the summer, like a ghost town. You can walk into any restaurant Friday night, prime time, sit anywhere. There's 3 people in there. No traffic on the road. Park anywhere you want, all that kind of stuff. So, but anyway, that's the yellow lined handwritten note, and on the back, you see if I hadn't opened it up, it would have said on the back, call before February 20th to secure 2019 prices. Aha! So there's the irresistible offer, the attempt to be, or at least that's the offer, like little urgency, that's known as urgency, giving me a deadline, that if I call by that date, I can get last year's or 5 weeks ago's prices. That is suggesting that the prices have gone up for 2010. Now, have they? Not necessarily, and likely not at all. But that gives me some urgency. Hey, I want to call because I want to get a deal. Human beings like to get a deal. So you want to take advantage of that human behavioral psychology that everyone wants a deal. We don't want to miss out on the deal. So we're likely to call by February 20th. And then the discount card that he said that falls out, here it is. Neighborhood discount. So again, they're harping on the theme of we're in your neighborhood. So it's neighborhood discount, save 18%. That's another, boy, a lot of smart things here. It's smart to use an odd, strange, not technically odd in the sense of odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, but a strange type of number. It's more memorable, and it catches the eye, and it stops the mind to stop and think about it. Whereas if it said save 10%, you see that all the time, 10%. It goes in one ear and out the next, you don't even think about it. If it said something like save 17.3%, that'd be even better. Now it's like 17.3%. What? That's strange. It caught my eye. Now I have to read it over and over, and the more I'm holding this in my hand and reading, this was your message, the better for you. The more likely, again, I'm going to buy. So you want people to open it, you want people to read it, and you want people to be involved with it. Including a card is known as an involvement device. They could have just printed this right on there. He could have written it right out as part of this, quote, writing on the yellow line. They could have said, plus, I'm passing, instead of saying I'm passing along this discount card because blah, 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 he could have just said, I'm offering an 18% discount with no down payment and no money down, no payments, and no interest for a year. Could have just said that right in there, but including the card and saying I'm including a discount card, underlined, is an involvement device. It fell out. Now I'm holding it. I'm playing with it. Cards feel like, ooh, this could be something of value. It's card, like a gift card or something, right? So there it is. There's the irresistible offer. 18% off, no money down, no payments, no interest for a year, and take an extra $35 off every window and door. You got these asterisks here for these whatever weasel clause. Are they really going to say you can't combine both? Because they're kind of screaming both right at you. So you save 18% and then an extra 35% off. See, so they could have said save 20%, which is probably what it adds up to. But 18, better chance of stopping the mind and going 18. It's a weird number. Why 18? And now I'm looking at it. I'm thinking about it. Maybe I'm turning it over and going, why 18? And the more I'm involved with your piece or your email or your social media post or whatever it is, the more I'm involved with it, the more likely I'll respond to it. Okay, and then on the back, it's got the number again. I assume it's the same number. Let's take a look. Yep, same number. Call that number, and it's got a website. Now, very smart also here, the website is not renewalbyanderson.com, which I'm sure they have, and I'm sure that's their main corporate website, but they are very smart, of course, and they register a URL, yourbetterwindows.com. Very cool. It's much easier to remember, and they capitalize the first letter of each word, which makes it easier to read and easier to remember, yourbetterwindows.com. So if you're a plumber in Cleveland, Ohio, you put bestplumbercleveland.com and you register that. I don't know if it's available, but something like it. Best Plumbing Cleveland, Top Plumber Cleveland, number one plumber Cleveland, Cleveland Best Plumber. Register something like that because it's more memorable. Also says something about you instead of Hassan Pfeffer and Abramowitz Plumbers Inc.com. That's just me, ego based. Doesn't help anybody to find you or to other than people that know you, and people that know you will find you. And so you register both. You have your name website for your previous customers who know your name to find you, but you have something catchy and memorable like yourbetterwindows.com, which says something about you. So for a plumber, you might register the name Fast Excellent Plumber Cleveland.com. People like plumbing fast. They like it excellent. They like it cheap. Whatever you want to put, right? Although you don't want to sell on price. That's another lesson for another day. And then this is authenticated by Joe, the guy that sent me the letter, and it's good until 2/20/20. A lot of twos and that's a full house. And term restrictions and conditions apply. See website for details. I like that. So in other words, the restrictions, conditions not on here, not on the handwritten letter. Not on here. You have to call for details, go to the website for details. Again, that gets people involved, right? If I now go to a computer or my phone and I type in that website and I go to it, it's likely that website contains a whole lot more of information to excite me and convince me to do this. Might have videos, might have case studies, testimonials, before and afters, special website special for today only, and a timer that this expires in an hour and all that kind of stuff. So they get me to go to the website to see the restrictions. It's likely it's not just the website going, here are the restrictions, see ya. That would be dumb, right? It would be a website saying, buy. And oh yeah, by the way, the restrictions are, there's a link on the bottom for that. So very simple, but a lot of good lessons there in this mailing. The old handwritten, yellow-lined, quote, handwritten, yellow-lined paper in the personal-looking envelope. I, of course, don't need windows doors, so I just filed it in a circular file. But I have a feeling that plenty of people will respond to that, and the main reason is because more people will read it, will spend more time with it, will consume it. And that's the goal that you want with all of your communication, email, social media, ads, phone calls, in-person, brochures, direct mail, whatever you're using. You want people to spend more time with you and your message. More likely they'll buy. That'll do it for Direct Mail Monday. Sid is here. I don't see any questions, comments, concerns. If you do, type them in wherever you're seeing this, hearing it, reading it, however you're getting this, on my blog, my podcast, all over LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, all over, wherever I'm putting this thing, all over the place. Let me know. Or, as always, go to helpfromsteve.com. That just sends you on a link to my personal calendar. You pick a day and time. We get on the phone. Can't spend all day, but I'll give you about 15 minutes, and I guarantee to come up with, put at least $20, $30, $50,000, $100,000 in your pocket with a couple of suggestions for you. So you might want to do that. Go to helpfromsteve.com. No obligation. Like I said, my business owners happily pay me $1,200 an hour for consulting, so I'm not going to sit there all day on the phone with you, but I will help you out. I enjoy helping business owners, and down the road, maybe we will do business someday. So, hey, thanks for the likes. Toby Mercinger's here. Thank you. And that'll do it for Direct Mail Monday. Signing off, and I will see you again tomorrow, right back here, wherever you're watching, listening to this, or reading it. If you want to be on it and ask questions or be involved in live video, you go to facebook.com/smallbizhelp, B-I-Z, and then you can get your questions answered and talk to me live on my videos, which tomorrow will be Topical Tuesday, where I share something happening in the news. Is there any news these days? I'll pull something out of the news, and I'll teach a business lesson from it, and I'll catch you then. Over and out. Bye-bye.